Willie D Live.
It's Willie D, y'all, back with another episode of information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. In the studio, Ali Siddiq. What's up, King?
What's good, King?
Oh, man, everything for you right now, man. You out here breaking websites and, selling out arenas and all kinds of, man, what's going on? Like, I know you're a pretty successful brother, but man, you done turned it up. You turned it all the way up.
Yeah, man. People done found out. So that's the best thing. I'm new to them. I'd rather be new than old.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild, man, because I saw the ascension, and it was a gradual ascension. Do you think if you had just popped out the gate and you just blew up right out the gate, that you would be as hungry as you are? Like, 'cause you got a hunger for this game. Like, and you putting in that work, and you're very appreciative of your fans.
Very appreciative. I'm gonna say the nose really motivated me. When you hear no so much, and you really believe in your product, that you push through no's. No's give you three things. They grow your tolerance, which gives you a callus to in very tough skin in this industry. It gives you mental fortitude, and then it gives you great creativity. So I think the no's really motivated me more than anything. And knowing that I was legit, whether somebody else knew it or not, I had to prove it. So that's my thing. And then once I proved it, I started doing the other things that they couldn't say no to. Like producing other guys who were hearing no, and being very independent. And I think the worst thing about this ascension is that people still don't respect the independence. Black people say it all the time. We gotta get our own. We gotta get our own. You hear everybody say we gotta get our own. But then the first thing they want to say, oh, you need a Netflix special, or you need somebody else's special. So get independent to go back into slavery. For somebody else to own your stuff. And then the other part of it is that all these people who are independent now, they want to give that praise to somebody else, and they know that they called me to ask me how to do it, and they watch me and learned how to do it. You'll give me praise in private, but not in public. So that's the hunger of showing that, man, I'm really not that I'm even comparing myself to everybody else, that I'm really different. I'm not gonna say better, I'm just different, in different mentality. But what can people expect? I come from Houston, the home of the independent artists.
What do you do with those those old no's that are now yeses from particular people who did not respect your grind and didn't respect your talent in past days?
Employ them.
You make your enemy your footstool. Do you consider them enemies? Or
I don't even consider them enemies. It's just they didn't. It's something that I've learned in this business, which is going back to that mental fortitude and growing that callous. Willie, I don't think people are supposed to see your vision, because it's actually your vision. So I'm never mad at them. They didn't see the vision. And I was in a lot of spaces that people didn't even know what to do with me. It's like drafting Magic Johnson. What do you put him? Do you want him to play the 5? Or you want him to play the 1? You want him to play the 2? He can play all the positions, and we're only accustomed to cultivating 5s. So somebody who come from the 1 and can play the 5 is a different monster for these people. I don't knock them for what they didn't know. They just didn't know. And some people, I learned that some people are not brave enough to say when something's not in their wheelhouse. You know, if you are a master of country music, and then you get a country artist who can do country hip hop and country pop and traditional country, and you keep trying to put them in one space, and they're like, well, I'm not growing in that space. Or people who are only used to navigating people that's already hot. You don't know how to really get somebody hot. They was hot when you got them. Or it's like a coach only drafting blue chip players. Are you really a coach? Because these players were already good when you got them. So if you take a bunch of people who you have to teach the game to, and you coach them up and they become great, then you're a real coach. You know, so sometimes in the industry don't know what they want until they see it. And then sometimes by the time they see it, that callus is grown, and I don't want to deal with you. I can do it on my own.
Was Phil Jackson a great coach?
Great coach. He was able to manage the egos of people who didn't know how to play together. They was individuals. So then he grew them together. You know, even though you still had the standout, that was Mike. And Mike gave everybody around him a different fire because Phil let him be who he is. It's like Steph Curry. Steph Curry's coach, hey man, just go out and shoot from wherever you want to shoot from. You got the green light. And somebody else would have stifled him. Man, only shoot this, only run to the corner. I was talking to Carmelo one time on this show, and Carmelo, I said, man, that was crazy how when you came to the Rockets, they wanted you just to shoot three-pointers. But you lived with the two-point shot. You know, you get hot with the hitting twos, regular shots in the paint, mid-range jumper, and then you'll fall back and you'll hit a three. But to ask him to just shoot threes and that's it, man, that's not my game. I ain't got hot yet to just shoot threes. So they didn't utilize him right. You know, and sometimes you see people just don't know how to utilize you correctly. And you have to move on to people who can see a different vision, to see a vision for you that's in cahoots with what you see for yourself.
So speaking of basketball, what is your take on Ja Morant and doing the finger guns and all that stuff and him getting in trouble for that?
Immaturity. Yeah. And sometimes because he has a father, and I see this a lot. I asked a guy, he was 60 years old, favorite rapper Tupac. I said, how? What did he say that resonated with you so much, and you probably was 40 when you heard him? Oh man, I just, the life, and some fathers don't know how to be fathers instead of friends. They want to be cool, and I'd rather you just be the old school father and give me the advice that I need, regardless if it's the hip thing to do. Nah, man, listen, bruh. You are squandering away your opportunity. And certain industries, just because you're talented, you hard to deal with. Even in my business, there's some people that's very talented. I just won't deal with them because they hard to deal with. And I know if I think that you're hard to deal with, the industry views you as hard to deal with.
Say, man, I was just dealing with something like that. I'm hosting my daughter's 30th birthday party, and I hired this guy, local guy, who's like a phenomenal talent. I mean, like, when you see this dude perform, you're like, you can close your eyes and imagine him on any big stage, anywhere, competing with anybody. He's that good. but this motherfucker is difficult to deal with. And I did not know how difficult he was to deal with until I personally dealt with him. And I heard other people say things about him. So I'm the type of dude, I can give a person a chance, you know. But man, it is absolutely amazing how somebody could squander that type of talent because of their attitude. Won't even fake it long enough to get in the door. I mean, like I know some dudes who have horrible attitudes, and you know, not just guys but girls too, horrible attitudes, but they faked it good enough until they got in the door and got hot and became platinum selling artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy couldn't get there because he thinks that he already got all the record sales. He thinks that he's already played the stadiums and all of that stuff. And so, I hired his ass and fired his ass just like that. Like, bro, I don't like your attitude. I don't like your energy because I'm hosting the party at my house. And I called him, I was like, look, you know what, man? Send me my money back, bro. I don't like your energy, and I don't want that energy in my house. So I absolutely understand where you're coming from with that. Was there a time in your life where you felt unseen, not as a comedian, not as the comedian Ali Siddiq, not as a convict, but as Ali, the person, the human? And, you know, if so, what are your thoughts on that now?
All the time. That's even now. It's people will bring up, and I understand why, and they box me in. Mexican Got on Boots is a story that I did, and then I haven't actually did a prison thing until I did the special in prison. Okay, but what, 15 years prior to that, I had never did anything about prison. And I was on Comic View, I was on Def Jam, I was on Bring the Funny, I was on all these other platforms before I did that. So after that, it's like if that's what they saw, they keep me there. And so you even have people who, because I have been convicted, they don't know if I got my record expunged. They don't know what my situation is. They just see me as that. I remember when I was on Bring the Funny, the Houston Chronicle in the paper said, convicted felon is on NBC, and then people had a little uproar about that. You know, a lot of people chimed in on that, like, what are you saying right now about him? My personal friends see me personally. My community, when I'm doing charity work, they see me personally. But everybody else, either I'm a convicted felon or I'm a comic. The two C's. And it's never just Ali the person. But the people who know me personally, or people who see me, or what I'm engulfed in is doing like charity work, they just see me as Ali, and that's how I pretty much prefer it. I'm a normal guy. Like, I don't like people call me Hollywood. I don't like, oh, that's the comedian. That's not my name. You know, my name is Ali Siddiq, and actually my name is Siddiq Ali. So when I just really bite the bullet on that, because I understand people only know what they know. And you'll probably never get to know me personally because you see me in those boxes. And the people who don't see me in those boxes, they get one hell of a person, you know, when they break it down. You know, if they ever had a personal conversation with me about how my mind works and how I think about anything. You know, it's like to run into, it's like you, DL, now, I never thought I would have a great relationship with David Banner. Like, I know his government name. You know what I'm saying? We on a personal level. Bill Bellamy, and then my family. I'm not Ali Siddiq to my family. I'm just Siddiq. And that's how I prefer it. To my friends, just being personal with my friends. And some you have some, I don't call them fans. You have some followers that have gotten to know me on a personal level. I've come into town. I've been in their house. I met their parents. I met their kids, and they met my kids, and they see that, I'm a different dude than the stage, even though the stage is me.
What made you reverse your name, the first and last name?
Man, people couldn't say Siddiq for some reason, and I don't know why. And then now I find out people can't say Ali.
Uh,
Ali, man, how you spell that? What?
I like Ali Siddiq. And the reason why I say I like Ali Siddiq, because there's not a lot of Siddiqs out there. Last name Siddiqs, right?
Mm-hmm.
That at least in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of Siddiqs, but there are many Alis.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Ali Siddiq it's unique, at least in our territory, and it stands out. Like, you can't confuse it with nothing else. You can't confuse
Besides Raphael, and our name is spelled totally different.
Right.
My name is Siddiq. His name is Saadiq.
Right.
It's actually pronounced different.
Mm-hmm.
But most people don't know Arabic, so I don't charge it to them.
Man, let's get into this special you got out right now. Rugged, man. Let me tell you something, bro. This is not just, I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm going to say it just for the slowpokes. This is not because you're a guest on the show. Your storytelling abilities are second to none. The only person that I can even remotely think of who is just as good, may not even be as good, but he got to get the mention just because of his catalog. Bill Cosby. Like, what's interesting about your storytelling is you can do this shit with your eyes closed. You can do it in your sleep. And I'm sitting here, I know comedy, bro. I study comedy. I got a lot of comedic friends. And it takes time to put these damn shows together. I mean talking about great shows. It takes time. There's only a handful of guys who can go back to back with good, really good comedy specials. You're one of them. That fucking comedy special, you laid that shit out like that was your first, like that was the main, this is the one that's gonna put me on the map. But you got others that you've already done. That's right there in the same vein, and it has the same amount of intensity. The shit is good. No hiccups. It's like, how do you do that shit and remember that shit? Because I can tell a story, but you're going to get 2 stories max, and then I'm going to forget what the fuck I was supposed to say. I'm going to have to look at some notes or something, but you remember all of this stuff so vividly. How do you do it?
I just go on what's happening with me. I remember what happened to me. I'm not in the vein of telling topics, like current topics. I don't do current things. I just, the stories that relate to me, that I know that relate to other people, I just do those stories. Like, especially if you're a man and you got a house, this is stuff that you go through and you like, damn, but you may not say it to other people. So a comic called me and said, hey man, you putting a lot of pressure on us. I said, no, I'm not. I say, I'm doing my thing and you're doing what you're doing. And I say, let me give you some help with your issue. Mass majority of comics won't ever do a special. Then the ones who do a special, it won't be memorable. Good comics to do one special that's you may remember something from it. Great comics to do two. Iconic comics will have a body of memorable work. And I say I'm even different than that. I'm the first one to ever do a series of specials that was connected. I brought people from me being 10 to 25.
Domino effect.
Domino effect. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then after that, I dropped an hour, just a regular hour of called Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover. Then I went back and I shot My Two Sons, and then I shot Rugged. I say that is 7 that people, and not even including the PTA. So when people look at the body at work, I never thought I would be better than Cosby until after Domino Effect 4. Domino Effect 4, 2 hours, no breaks in it. And that's when I said, wow, that's crazy that the person who I looked at as the top tier, in my mind, when people ask who the greatest storyteller, I would say Cosby, Carlin, then me, then Joey Diaz. Now it's just me separated from them. And why would he say that? I'm like, Cosby gave you one thing. I give you the Magic Johnson effect. I give you 5 different things, different genres, and I've taken people places in my stories that they had never got to. Like, I tell people I was offended when people were talking about, well, I never seen a special or somebody made me cry before Jamie Foxx. I'm like, so you never saw Domino Effect 2? And then I put it in perspective for somebody. I never ran Domino Effect 2. I never went out and toured it. I never ran it. I went out and I did it that day. That was the first time the director saw it. That was the first time the lighting person saw it. That was the first time my manager saw it when I did it.
So you never tried it out in any comedy clubs?
Not one sentence of it.
Now that's different. That's really different, because typically a comic, before he go out and do a big show or a special, he tries it out for sometimes a year or 2.
Yeah. And the ability for me to tell a story is based upon something that DL told me. And these pivotal moments in my career that I can say that were big things to me. DL told me one day, we just chopping up doing the show. After the show, he said, man, Ali, the best you're going to ever be is based upon how honest you want to be. So I just go on stage and I just be honest. And I'm not looking for any validation from the audience. That's the craziest things. Who I'm looking for when I'm doing a special, when I'm doing a show, I'm not even really playing for the audience. I'm playing for the wait staff.
Expound.
It's only a couple people that's working in the venue. I'm working, and the wait staff is working. If somebody is taking orders at a table,
Okay, I hear where you're going.
you got 30, 40, 50 orders, and I say something that make you laugh while you working, that shit is funny.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's captivating because they, between taking somebody's order, they like, man, damn, that was funny. You know what I'm saying? And I'm watching their reaction. So the wait staff has always been huge to me. Just like now when I'm in these bigger venues, security, I wait to break the security. They be sitting there being stern, and then I say something, and they have no choice, but they just, man, I gotta laugh at this. I know I'm supposed to be securing the building right now, but that's funny as hell. And I'm playing this game different than other people. Like, I'm really playing it different. And then it's you and some other of my friends that's hard pressed. And when they call and say, boy, let me tell you something. And I'm like, there it is. That's the validation. It's not you a harder critic, especially when people who know you. You know, my boy James Brasco, he'll call and say, bro, man, let me tell you something, bro. I'm watching this like I don't know you, and I know this story. You told me when this happened to you. Now I'm seeing you put it together, the whole story. And it's harder for me now, even though I hate this challenge, but I've taken it on. I don't like the fact that people, like Rugged wasn't all the way together because I had to do it in pieces because I didn't want people to record my set. So I'll stop a story right in the middle and go to something else, or I'll give you a piece of the story. So I'm only putting it together when you see it, when the special is being shot. And my manager will be like, yo, how many stories you doing? And I give him the list right before I'm getting ready to go out. He's like, what? When did you do? And I'm like, until we find a way to stop people from recording, this is how I'm going to have to do it. So I don't want you to see it on somebody's social media, on somebody's Facebook, on somebody's phone before I do it. So I'd rather just hold certain stories, and then people don't know where I'm going with these stories because they haven't heard the whole thing. But I know them because it happened to me. So I'm only going on the truth that I know. So it's a more difficult thing.
DL hit the nail on the head when he told you that, you know, how successful you're going to be is going to be determined, you know, by how honest you're going to be, you know. But I also add another word in there, vulnerable. You allow yourself to be vulnerable, and that is refreshing. When I started allowing myself to be vulnerable, writing songs, I got better, you know. It's something about that honesty, man, and people are going through it. People like to know that, okay, he's strong, but at the same time, he's human. And that human part of you, you know, is more relatable than anything.
LL.
When you started talking about going up on that damn ladder and changing that filter, and you had one of them tricky type of damn filters. You good with the old filter where you open it up and just drop it. That's key. That's easy. But you got a new type of damn filter, and you can't take it out. I can relate to that because, you know, I change the filter in my house from time to time. I hate changing filters because you got to get a damn ladder, and the ceilings are high. I got 30-foot ceilings.
Yeah.
I got 30-foot ceilings, right? And you be like, man, I don't want to do all of this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't want to do all of this. But sometimes when you think how simple it is to change it, you don't want to pay somebody a few $100s just to change the goddamn filter.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it's still dangerous. It's easy to change, but it's dangerous because you got to get up on that damn ladder. And if I remember, you was talking about going up on the ladder. You was on the ladder when you was in the attic or something, and I can't remember exactly what you were saying right there, but you was talking about that attic, and you ready to fight at all times, but you can't just squabble when you're on a ladder. Safety first, because if you mess around and take the wrong step on the ladder, you out of here.
You out of there.
That handyman. The trip part about it is that a lot of people have spoken about being a handyman from time to time and said something once, said a little, just a little thing in a whole special or in a, during a show or whatever. But you put that thing together and made an entire damn special off of talking about being a handyman and it's not boring at all. It's funny all the way through because it's relatable all the way through. You put to be able to say, bro, I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with the way that you attacked that. I mean, from changing the filters to, like going out there cutting your own grass and it being too hot. you paying your lawn man $150 to do it for you. Like, you try to do it yourself, but you didn't realize that Carlos wears his damn sombrero for a reason. He has his sombrero on, and he has long pants on for a reason, because he got to fight this sun.
That outfit is mandatory. It's like you out there thinking that it's easy. It's one of them things, Willie, man, that everybody thinks something easy. Because, I grew up cutting grass, but it wasn't my job. So my uncle let me push a lawnmower here and there, but I wasn't out there for real, so he would always take over. But when you have to do it and you done got mad about something like, hey, man, I don't really know how to do what I'm thinking that I know how to do. And sometimes being a man is admitting that you don't know something and getting the help. I was talking to this brother about mental health. I said the reason why a lot of y'all have mental health, and this is for the guys who 30 and 20 and 40, a lot of them have mental health issues because somebody told them that men don't talk to each other, which I'm 51. I grew up in an era where we couldn't wait to tell each other what happened. We didn't have this embarrassment about everything, and then you embarrass with your friends, and that's weird to me. That's something that I don't even understand, being embarrassed with your friends, and I think that most people don't have real friends. So me being able to say the things that happened to me like I'm talking to my friends. And my friends know that day I was out there with that, because I called them and said, man, let me tell you something, boy, it's hot outside. And he said, what you was trying to do? Cut this grass. And they was like, for what? Man, you better hire somebody to cut that grass, And like Marcus always say to me, he said, man, Erica, his wife, he said, that's the man of the house. Erica know everything that's going on in the house. I just lay there. He said, even down to the remote. He said, man, I call. Hey, man, how you cut this TV on? Because that's not what he's doing all the time. He's not at the house doing stuff all the time. So knowing that I'm not embarrassed with my friends, I can just say the things that happened to me. It's a new story that I just did about how I had a boil on my leg, and I was in the barbershop in Midtown, and Jason and Jason and Rob like, man, what's wrong with your leg? I said, man, I got a boil on my leg. And they was like, well, you want me to lance it for you? I was like, man, y'all don't know what y'all, man, we got all the same stuff. We got razors, we got iodine, we got peroxide, they got all the stuff, right? So I let them do it. They cleaned it out. And then I went home, and the next morning I woke up, my leg was a little stiff. And I got scared and went to the doctor. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, hey, man, who did this? I said, dudes in the barbershop. He said, man, they did a pretty good job, man. Ain't really nothing wrong with your leg. You just need just need some antibiotics. But you straight. And so I waited until I went back to the barbershop 2 days later. I said, hey, I walked in. I was like, man, gotta tell y'all something. They're like, what's up? I said, man, I got scared and I ain't trust y'all. And I went to the doctor. They was like, oh, man, that's weak as hell. You ain't think your boys knew what they was doing? But I had to tell them that I got scared because my leg was stiff. But they did a good job. I'm not embarrassed to say to my friends whatever's going on with me. You know, whether it's relationship woes, whether it's children woes, whether it's, hey, man, something financial, you know, because, man, I didn't invest in something before and it didn't pan out, and they told me, hey, man, I don't know. And then I lost my bread, and then I came back and said, damn. But I told them. So my friends are not going to let me have a mental health condition. They're not going to let me wallow in something that's wrong with me. Because I'm going to say it, and as a man, I don't listen to gossip. I listen to give a solution to the problem that I'm hearing. So my friends count on me, I count on them. So therefore, I don't have any type of mental health issues with what's going on with me. And I think men in their 40s and their 30s and their 20s need to learn to pick valuable friends, people who can be valuable to them, and be valuable to those people as well, and talk to each other more. Don't have all this bottled up, all these bottled up problems. If you talk, because that's what, when you have mental health, what they're going to tell you, they're going to send you to a therapist. What you do there? Talk. Now you're talking to a stranger. Now you're talking to a stranger that don't know you. And they starting you in places that you may need immediate help. I don't need to go back to what my father did in 1973. I need immediate assistance right now. And that's what my friends give. That's what the men of my generation give. That's why I've always had respect for when I go to a corner store and I see men still in their work uniform talking on the back of a truck. What they talking about? They talking about what's going on with their life. You know, hey, whether it was something bad at the job, whether it was something bad at the house, whether they going through something, man, damn, I think Karen finna leave me. You know what I'm saying? They talking, and because that's what men, actually, it's not a woman's thing. It's not, they're not gossiping. They talking about things that affect them. So that's the curve for mental health for me in my generation.
You ever had something happen to you that was not necessarily embarrassing, but was funny, that you had some trepidation about telling your friends because you knew they were going to laugh at you, but you went on and told them anyway because you just had to tell somebody about this goofy shit?
Got to tell them. You know, that's the thing about, man, that's the thing in the story. You gotta say it, and there's gonna be something, especially when you have good friends.
Mm-hmm.
You have real good friends that sometimes the thing that you really embarrassed about happened to them as well. They're like, boy, let me tell you when this happened to me. Same thing happened. You know what I'm saying? And you be like, damn. You know what I'm saying? And then you think, why you ain't tell me? He said, man, should be them. You know, then they told another friend. You know, so the circle of friends is really valuable. Man, I remember my boy was going through something with his wife, and he told Marcus, and Marcus told me, and I called him. I said, come on, divorced ass nigga, you trying not to tell me that you man, who told you? I said, I'm with the nigga right now that told me. He said, hey, nigga, you trying to hide the shit from me. And he's like, man, goddamn. I'm like, but that's the thing. And then I'm on his neck. You about to leave your house, nigga? Is you crazy? And me saying it, Marcus saying it, they've been together 25 years. They were supposed to get, this was happening when at year 15. That's 10 years ago. So sometimes you gotta hear that something that you may be going through, a decision that you may make, maybe sound crazy. And so with my manager is very good at giving me the flip side of the coin. The director of all my specials, Eric Abrams, he's very good at some things I've wanted before. He's like, say Rugged, right? This is a prime example. Rugged was originally called I'm Not Handy. That's what it was originally called. Eric editing it, doing all the editings on it and getting it together, and he called me and said, man, I don't know about this title, man. I think that it's a little more than that. Man, this is very rugged. And I said, what? He said, I think it should be called Rugged. And I said, let me chew on it for a little bit. And I think I called Eric back in about 15 minutes, if less. I was like, yeah, I'm with it. But he also named Domino Effect. First Domino Effect was supposed to be called 1983. Because that's where it started. And I was going on the year, like, man, I'm going to just call it 1983. Eric called me. He was like, nah, man, I think it should be called Domino Effect. Gave me his reason. And I said, you know something, Eric? You right on with that. But that's going back to the ideology of 3 brains is better than 1. You know, what I think sometimes may be surface. Because that's, you know, I'm busy creating the rest of it, so the title may be real surface. But when somebody else is seeing it and they watching it and they shot it, they like, nah, it's bigger than that. And so you go with the people that you entrust with your artistry. Why wouldn't they have a good opinion about what the title should be?
Yeah, you doing your thing, man. Like, you really, really are giving the public that work. I mean, I'm talking about, this is top tier work, man. This ain't just work. You know, some people work, but you're putting in legendary work. Like, the stuff that you're doing right now, people are going to be talking about this for a long, long time. We're talking decades and decades. They're going to study you. I promise you that. They are going to study you. They're going to study you. How you pretty much put yourself on. You're independent. You put yourself on. But how satisfying is it to be able to put others on like you did Marcus D. Wiley and, you know, help him do millions of views on YouTube?
Oh, man, it's invaluable to wait a minute. That's next level to me, because I would tell people, hey man, you should let me shoot your stuff. You should let me, you know, put an eye on it. Because a lot of people let me put a pen on the paper for them, but not give it a clear vision. Marcus is special. For somebody to trust you with they work, and you say, hey man, listen, bro, I'm going to put my best foot forward for you, and I'm not only going to put my bread behind it. I'm going to do the other intangibles that a network is not going to do for you. And so I opened my whole team up to Marcus. It wasn't just me. It's like, bro, this is the team. It is Matt, it's Joe, everybody that's a part of my thing, Ryan. And I said, bro, just trust me, man. And he did. And it was invaluable for my friend to trust me with his art and to put another independent on, because he's independent as well, to make another independent more independent. Because, he touring with me, but this is how I see that. If I go do a movie, I go do a sitcom, then like with other guys, they go do a movie, a sitcom, then that stop the people money that's touring with them, because they only touring with them. And a lot of these people don't have an outlet on their own. They're not getting the money on their own. So my thing was, Marcus, I'm gonna teach you how to fish. You doing your thing, but let's enhance that, and I'm gonna teach you how to fish. I'm gonna open up every aspect, and I don't want you to have the pitfalls that I had. I don't want you don't have to go through that. You don't have to wait, and you don't need to get those scars that I already took in those scars for you. So his project doing what it's doing, man, it's gonna make 5-6 million views, because it's only been out a month and a half. He had 2 million, and it's a good body of work that I think that a lot of people should watch in order to enhance your relationship, rebuild your relationship, have your relationship strong, and it has a message to it. So it was just a wonderful thing. I, the feeling of shooting a special, and then his tour schedule, crafting his tour schedule. You know, that's Joe's job, to get him in these spaces. Something that he hadn't had before. He was doing it on his own. And coming with this team, special and tour schedule and marketing, showing them the difference and elevating him to other people's eyes and stamping him and validating him. Hey man, if you like what I do, you're gonna like this. And people have gravitated towards him, which was great. I don't want you to just see him on tour, so he'll be on his own tour. Marcus is done with me in June, and from June to December, he's booked all the way out, and then that's gonna roll over into the next year, to 2026. Nobody else is doing that for their team. Nobody. It's like everybody want to keep people up under them. That's not how I roll, because it's the whole thing. If your whole team is strong, your whole team, not relying on me, relying on yourself. You came from you started here, then you went on your own, and that's a blessing. It is it was a blessing to do it. Like it really was, and I prayed for it. I prayed for his special to be excellent. I prayed for it. And then the other thing was, I'm Muslim, Marcus is Christian. To even show that relationship between two different denominations that have so much heavy respect for each other, and Marcus is clean. I'm not. But Marcus knows that I'm I'm a monster clean because I'm clean the whole month of Ramadan, and I'm destroying all this, and they never even realize that I don't even really curse that much. So
Right.
it's the thing I don't even because I'm not vulgar, you know. When I'm telling the story, I'm telling the story from the truth. So I got to tell you what happened and what was said. But we two different entities that support each other. You know, I don't see a team like ours. You know, I don't, and it's the Houston thing. You know, it's I mean I really want for my brother what I want for myself. So that's the whole other thing. It's not words to me, it's the actions. You know what I'm saying? And I love him as a person. So why wouldn't I want his family to eat? You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't I want his life to be excellent? You know, I'm a big cheerleader and a big fan of his, like huge fan. This is somebody who I work out with and I walk with in the morning. I know his kids and his mama talk crazy to me every time she see me. You know what I'm saying? When I'm coming to church with her. It was it's these things. So when you love somebody, you want to see them do excellent. You want to see them do well. You really and you want to and even if it's better than me. I don't have no ego about that with Marcus. I wouldn't have an ego with that with Sidney Castillo or Billy Sorrells or Ronnie Jordan or D-Lay or LeVar Walker. I don't have this ego that I gotta be the only one. What it looks like, what does it look like when 10 of y'all strong? That y'all are always eat together. Y'all are always do stuff together. Hey man, you got a Maserati? Oh boy, I can't wait to tell somebody my partner got a Maserati. I told Mark as soon as he get that Lambo truck, we got a Lambo truck. I'm like, man, y'all seen our new Lambo truck? And like it's a big thing about Martin Luther King said, and everybody talk about the I Have a Dream speech, I get that. But he also had a speech about service. And he said if black people lose the service industry, then we lose everything. Willie, I'm a good leader because I've always been a good servant. Always. I don't have no problem if you on a set and you don't have a wardrobe person and I'm there. As Ali Siddiq right now, I'm there. I'ma say this. Where the ironing board at? Let me get Willie clothes together for him. Because that doesn't diminish who I am. That's the service to my friend. I'm a steam all the stuff and I'm gonna bring it in your dressing room like, yo, these your clothes. Because you got other things that you got to worry about. You don't have a wardrobe person, so I know how to do it. So why not just do it for your friend? That doesn't take away from my manhood. That doesn't take away from my pride. That doesn't take away from who I am. That's the difference between me and a lot of people. At my masjid, I'll never forget, I'm cleaning out the wudu area. And the wudu area is where everybody go wash up before they pray. And I was in there cleaning the wudu area. And his brother named Ibrahim said, man, I always know when I leave here because it smelled like pine saw back there. And a brother came, this Pakistani brother came and put $5 in my pocket while I was cleaning. And I just said, oh, okay. Because he's thinking of maybe I'm some destitute brother that's in here cleaning. And he did out the kindness heart. He put $5 in my pocket. I said, okay. And he was sitting out in front of the masjid with the imam talking. And then I came out and I jumped in my Escalade, and he was looking like, but I put his money in the box with everybody, and he was looking like, hey. And the imam told me, yeah, man, that brother told me that he put $5 in your pocket. And I said, yeah, I guess he thought I was, and he said, brother, he did like, man, nah, Ali don't need no money. It ain't like at all.
That's dope.
But you get blessings from everybody who use that voodoo area when it's clean. Everybody who come in there that use that voodoo area to go pray, you get the blessings for that too. Like they'll never know that I put a roof on the masjid. I'll never tell them. That's not for me. That's not for me to say something's wrong with the roof. Let's just get the roof fixed. And I don't see those things as big shot things. I see those things as being grateful to be able to do it. I'm really grateful to the creator. Like this success, man, I'm very grateful. And I pray for other people. I pray for them to have things. And if I can assist, I will. If I'm even like this, the better person for the job. Me and Marcus' relationship goes way back further than people think. So Yolanda Adams' morning show. They by right, I'm at the box. Everybody know me at Radio 1, and they asked me about doing this radio show, this gospel show with Yolanda Adams. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. But then they had some guys audition for it that were from Atlanta and from other places. And it was them, and then it was Marcus. So I came and auditioned for it, knowing that I got the upper hand. But I'm steady pushing Marcus. This is the best person for it. Not me, it's the best person for it, Marcus. I'm steady in their ear about Marcus. Marcus gets the job. Am I saying that's for me? No. I'm going to muddy up the water for my friend over these other people that they trying to put in play. It's the assistants going to the Improv doing the Jive Turkeys, 20 years, for the Houston Food Bank. How that started was a Wednesday night I asked, hey, what y'all do on Wednesday? All the comedy clubs was closed on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving around the country. So they like, well, we don't do nothing. I said, can I do it? They're like, Wednesday before Thanksgiving? I'm like, yeah. So he said, yeah, I'm the person that's supposed to come headline that Wednesday. I called Dave Lawson, Terry Gross, Kier Spates, Marcus D. Wiley, and Seven. I said, hey, we're going to do this show together, and we're going to call it the Jive Turkeys. Everybody agreed. We've been doing it for 20 years. I'm not selfish. So my whole plan was to get everybody in the door to Improv, where they could have their own nights. And they could at an A-list comedy club to expand. Because Rob Stapleton told me, hey man, get out of those Chitlin Circuit rooms. You too good for that. You need to go to mainstream rooms so you can blossom. Me taking that advice and me hearing it is to give it to my friends as well. So Dave has had headlining spots up there. Terry, Marcus coming in December, and Kier. Then Kier started doing this thing with Luther Vandross and Steve Harvey, and Seven is huge in this city, and he can come to the Improv by himself and do it. Need be. I don't see the benefit in being selfish with information and ideas, because it's not. It doesn't really belong to me. It's the creator gave it to me. It belongs to the universe. And that's just how I see things.
Do you see a benefit in crashing out when somebody is trying to beat you to a parking spot? Like, man, look, man, you pulled up. That's your spot. And then somebody
And that young boy was wild, man.
who pull up later try to beat you into the spot. What do you do if they decide, you try to reason, you're like, hey, and they just pull up anywhere and then just hop out the car and just start walking? What do you do?
Go to another spot.
Just go to another spot.
Go to another spot, because for some reason that really, what I wanted, it wasn't for me. So go to another spot. I may have needed them extra steps. When I was I used to be heavier. I was 190. I wasn't mobile as I wanted to be. This brother told me, hey man, get this stuff called Chris Swiss and take that at night and stop parking at the closest spot. And I would park at the furthest spot, and then I would walk to the store, then I would walk back. He said, man, you need to get your body moving a little more. You being too casual, trying to be in the front spot and go right in the store and then come right back. I said, what about, man, you missed 100 steps that you could have took, to get more physically fit. And that's what I did, and it worked. So I don't even look for the closest spot no more.
But in terms of conflict resolution, how did you train your brain to get there? Because you wasn't always there.
Mm-mm.
You was ready to take off. No matter what the situation was, you was ready to take off.
Man, fear.
Of what?
Me and you knowing each other. Well, this is what I'm terrified of. I'm more scared of what I will do versus somebody else. And that's the thing that has tempered me a lot. I had a situation where somebody was videoing my daughter while she was ice skating.
And how old was your daughter at this time?
She's 7. This was yesterday. I get the phone call that the person is there, and I come up to the Galleria, and the only thing that's scaring me is what I'm willing to do if something is said that I'm not agreeing with. I'm gonna ask very nice, hey, I'm asking you not to record my daughter. If it would have went past that, I'm not sitting here talking to you today, because this is my daughter, and I'm not playing about my kids. So even in certain situations, me and you had spoke, and I said what I said. I'm coming dolo, but I'm about the business of it. I'm cool with the resolution, but man, I don't really think that it's understood what I'm already capable of, what I've already done. So I'm fearful of that, because I already know what I'll do. I know 100. Like, other people think that they'll say what they'll do, but have you done it? Are you proven to do it? And I know. I remember my aunt one time was mad. My mom was mad at my aunt, and the reason I'm telling you so, because it was right here on Canal and Navigation. My uncle got into it with some guys because he was on drugs. Got into it with some guys. My aunt told me about it. And then I showed up, and my mom was pissed at my aunt. She was pissed. She said, "Why would you tell him? Out of everybody in this family, why would you tell him? Because you already know what he's going to do." And my mom was right. She was about right to be mad. Because when I show up, I'm doing my best to be rational. But if I look back at it, I wasn't being rational because I'd already had things set up to do for the moment that I knew that may happen. My vehicle is parked 4-5 blocks away. I have on 3 different pairs of clothes so I can, if I gotta move around, I can change clothes as I'm moving. And I get there and I say what I had to say. And then they on some, well, he owe us this, that, and the third. I say, well, I'll give you that. And I'm giving you it as a courtesy. Because if y'all put y'all hands on him, the only thing that I'm thinking, if I'm going to have my mask on or my mask off. But y'all will die. No doubt about it. And they looking at me like, well, he ain't got nothing on him. But the main dude looked in my eyes and was like, then I'll take the money and we not going to sell nothing else to him. And I said, cool. Because y'all don't understand, it's a thing. My mom says it's like this. His eyes are light brown. If they get dark, that means that he's going there.
Your eyes can change dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah. Crazy.
Make them change right now.
I ain't mad at nobody.
Okay.
Like, if we... Like, we have a mutual friend that I'm indebted to him because of something that inside that he was crazy. He was indebted to me, and he paid the debt back by doing something that made me back indebted to him. And me and him super tight. Like, and because he he's like, man, if I'm in a dark alley with somebody, he ain't budging, and he ain't budging. So you got 2 people who not budging and gonna go there. I would never call him if I think there's a chance of it being rectified. Because once he get there,
right. It's on site.
Well, it's on site with him, and he right now is like that, and he.
Go ahead, finish. Somebody say something.
And it's crazy. He close to me. He ain't far.
You know what's funny, man, is that all of us got, the 3 of us, we got documented history. Like, a lot of people talk about what they will do or what they did, but there's no documentation of it, right? Mm. Well, people know our history. They know. People can give you stories after stories after stories and say, yeah, he put the work in, he did that, you know. In fact, he did this to me. Look at this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I find entertaining sometimes is, like, it's not in the moment most of the time, but it's normally after the fact, where we try to, sometimes we kind of get there and we have to talk each other off the ledge. It's like this uncompromising brother, this guy who can go from 0 to 1,000 is trying to talk another guy off the ledge that can go from 0 to 1,000. And the guy that you're trying to talk off the ledge is saying, "No, I'm just talking you off the ledge." How you talking?
and and that's me and you. That's me and you. That's recently. So it's funny, like in comedy, it's some people in comedy that we've called each other and we know each other. We know each other. And I'm Reggie Carroll, Scruncho, Jimmy Martinez, Billy Sorrells, me. I could. It's crazy to talk to Scruncho when I know Scruncho done call me and say, "Hey man, listen," and we talk to each other in a point system. I called Reggie Carroll one time and said, "Hey, you do know you're not gonna get no points for that." And he's like, "But man, listen, he did." I'm like, "Reggie, you not gonna get no points for that." Scruncho, Ali, you not gonna get no points for that. Billy called me one time. I'm flying to LA because I'm finna address something. And Billy said, "Man, who you finna go down?" And I'm hiding from Billy and Scruncho because I don't want them to say nothing to me. Billy finally talked the name out of me. I said, "Man, such and such." He said, "Lee, he homeless." I said, "What?" He said, "Man, that Negro is homeless. Man, you know how crazy you look getting out, whooping somebody and jumping back in your Bentley." I'm like, "Hey, man, don't make it." He said, "Man, you sound crazy." And it takes somebody that you know has that ruggedness to tell you, bruh, not even worth it. If it was worth it, I would say, I'm going with you. But this is not even worth your time, your effort, nothing, because you're not going to get any gratification from doing it. I know right now your ego is up, but it's not really worth. You're going to feel bad afterwards. It's not even where, and then sometimes, "I know I ain't." You're like, kind of tell you, it's not you lowering yourself to somebody else's standard. And the only person that can rationalize with you like that is somebody that you know for facts will get active. It's no severe. I remember Marcus. Boy, Marcus has never had a fight in his life, but he has an ability to downplay something. I was at somebody and Marcus said, "So let me just get this straight. 100 city tour. You very well to do. Have a family," and he named something else and then got out the car and said, "Good. Go to jail behind that." And walked in his house. I said, I called her, I said, "So that's how you gonna leave it like that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm home now." And then I was in the car with you. I ain't want to argue back and forth about your ideology. I'm home now. Get off my phone. He hung up on me. And I thought about it all the way home while the driver was dropping me off in front of my house. Ali, it ain't worth it. You resorting back to a lesser you. Come on, bro.
I watched this movie called A Time to Kill, starring Samuel Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Is there ever a time to kill, and is it ever worth it? What would be worth it to you if you had to go there?
Family.
Family.
Only family.
Yeah.
Industry is not worth it. Words are not worth it. And it gotta be something with my family. You mess with them girls, you mess with my son, mess with my mama, you mess with my sister. It gotta be family. And then it's not all family. It's not all family, because some of my family, I know you can probably did some. I'm coming to talk that out anyway. But Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to take somebody touching my kid in any form or fashion. I'm not gonna be able to take that. I'm not gonna be able to wear that.
You
Just
make a
not.
lot of people laugh, man. A lot of people come to you to, you know, to they come to you to, you know, for a moment of relief, like from, you know, the pain of the world, so to speak, you know. Or just sometimes people just want to check you out just so that they can have some, you know, relief from the daily rigors of life, right? Is there anyone who is no longer here that you wish that you could make laugh? Like that you could wish that moment,
Oh,
that you had that moment to just make laugh right now.
Ashley Ray Mitchell.
And who is Ashley
That's
Ray
my little
Mitchell?
sister.
Oh yeah,
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 she
yeah,
passed.
yeah,
She
yeah, yeah,
passed at 8.
yeah.
That that little lady. I would have loved to, see her grow and all that, but that wasn't in the cards. But it's a it's a thing that the Creator blessed me to have daughters that I could live those moments with. So I try my best to make them laugh as much as I can. I try to. I have a saying, and it's for women. Never have children with a man that won't dance with them. You know, because that's something that they need. They need to see that vulnerability in their fathers. And, and dancing is just not the physical action of dancing. It's walking with them and talking with them and laughing with them and being a caretaker of their life, their emotions, and helping them navigate. If you don't see that in him with you or with his mom, that's not a person that you want to have children with. Even with my son, he's so awkward, but I still draw him in to dance with me, just like with the girl, because I want him to understand, bruh, having this tough persona is not really what manhood is about. I don't ever want my kids to just see me laughing with my friends. I want to laugh with them, and my dad, even though he wasn't ideal, man, my dad was fly. And he would, when he get ready to go somewhere, I come downstairs and he'll be dancing, and he'll show me a step or two, and I always appreciated that he would take time to dance with me, and that's that's a huge thing to show vulnerability to your children. And my dad's dad was brutal to him, but I can only remember one time, maybe two, but the one is vivid, that he ever spanked me. It was mostly just talking a lot of times. And I used to be a firebug, and my sister had these stuffed animals, and I was flicking these matches 'cause I was so infatuated with fire. So I'm flicking these matches, and one of the little coals go into her stuffed animal, light them all up. And I didn't lock the door. I won't let my mama in. I'd rather burn up in this room than let my mom in this room. And she promised me if I opened the door, she wouldn't spank me. She got in and she tried to put it out. Fire department came, they put the room out and burnt up the whole room. And she didn't spank me. But she called my daddy. And I heard him, coming up the steps. It's like he was breaking each step as he came up. He was so mad. And I said, oh, that's a dirty move right there. He don't even, and I said to my mind, he don't even live here. And, and he came in there and beat me down. And that's the only time that I vividly remember. So I come home.
So your mama Scarfaced you. Like, you remember Scarface said, I'm not going to kill you. Remember Tony said, I'm not going to kill you. Shoot this picture.
my son, I come home and I see this box that's burnt in the garage. Like it's a little flame going up. And I went in the house and I said, Hassan, come here. Went in the garage, just me and him. I said, hey, let me tell you a story. Told him this whole story about fire. And I said, Hassan, I don't even have to ask who did this because you're me. This box that was, what were you trying to do? And he was stunned that I even knew that was him. I said, Hassan, bruh, don't burn this house up. Don't let me catch you playing with no fire. Because unlike my mama, I'm not going to promise you that I'm not going to beat you down. I'm going to beat you down. You know what I'm saying? And he hasn't played with fire that I know of since then. But I knew it was him. And I go back to them times my mom used to say, there's certain things that I don't have to ask y'all. If I come in here and it's all the fruit gone, if I buy some fruit and all the fruit is eaten up, I don't have to ask who did it. If I come in here and all the hot stuff is eaten up, I don't have to ask who did it. I know the hot stuff is your sister. I know the fruit is you. And I'm like, Mama, how you know that? He said, because when I was pregnant with you, all I ate was fruit. When I was pregnant with her, all I ate was hot stuff. So I know you are prone to it. So now I have kids that I walk in, I don't have to ask who ate all the apples. I don't have to ask who ate the yogurt. I don't have to ask these type of questions. I just come in. So you ain't want to save me one orange? It was 10 oranges. You could have ate 9 of them and just saved me one. My rationale is a little different with my kids. I don't want to be no brutal father. I don't want them to have any bad memories of me. I want them to have very good memories and very good communication. I don't want them to hide stuff from me. It's certain things that I don't want as a father that I try to, I don't want them to struggle. And with my son, I explained to him this. I grew up traveling. I grew up a lot of places before we settled here. Even when we settled here, my mother was working, trying to get her career out. She would send us to live with relatives. So I grew up a lot of places. Hassan has been a lot of places. He's had a passport since he was 2. So he's been out of the country. He's been to a lot of places. He spent 4 months in Spain. He's done a lot of things. I said, Hassan, I used to not say my experiences to people who I was around. I don't call them friends. That was acquaintances that I was growing up with. Because they was, oh, you lying. So I would make myself small to fit in. I told my son, I don't ever want you to do that. Be around people who relish in the things that you know, in the places that you've been. You speak multiple languages. Let that be a tool for you versus a hindrance. Don't let nobody make you small. Because when I was inside, the Mexicans used to be plotting on us a lot. But we had one black dude, Pablo. They never knew that he could speak Spanish. And he would always tell us what they was up to. Because he never let nobody know that he could speak Spanish but us. He was like, man, they saying such and such. I'm like, wow. He said, man, I'm fluent in Spanish. Man, my mama Mexican. Grew up speaking Spanish. Like, I know Spanish. Like, and he could speak Spanish very fluent. And his dad was black, but he never let him know. But we utilized the fact that he knew as a tool versus trying to make him small for speaking Spanish. It didn't make sense. It's like with sibling rivalries. My sister's a genius. I don't know why I couldn't just go. I never had to fail a class or make a bad grade. Why couldn't I just go right next door and ask the genius? She's 2 years older than me. She'd already did these things before I got to that grade. Why just not go ask her? You know, being small minded. Oh, man, that's small minded. If I need some help, why not come ask Willie? You know what I'm saying? People will say these saying, "What's up, family? What's up, my brother? That's my brother," but then won't ask him nothing.
You know, I think that's why a lot of men make mistakes, because women will ask their tribe. They'll go down the line just calling person after person after person, asking for advice. They may not use it after they get the advice, but they at least make the attempt to get the advice. Oftentimes, men won't call other men, especially men who've already experienced what they've experienced. They will not call and ask for help. And that's actually a hurdle that I had to get over, but I got over it relatively early, though. Like I was like 20s when I got over that hurdle. But we would make so many less mistakes if we were to consult with our elders or just consult with men, other men, period, men who have experience, not necessarily people that are on the same level as us and don't have any experience, but we would absolutely make less mistakes if we were to consult with other men. But I'm seeing that more often today is a little bit more acceptable than it used to be.
What's crazy is that's the Islamic principle. It's called mashura. So when you take mashura, it's taking counsel, right? If you come to the table with a problem, you express your problem, and it may be 5 people, it may be 8 people, it may be 4 people, but you express your problem to the elders and what we consider the wise men, like people who have more wisdom than you. So, and more knowledge. It's called elm. The rule is once you put the problem on the table, you have to empty your cup. You can't say anything until everybody goes around and put something in the cup, so to speak. Give their educated opinion on the problem. So you can't, you can't rebut. You just got to put it on the table. And then after that, you have to listen. When you take counsel like that, and they give you all these nuggets of information, when it gets back to you, it's up to you to make a decision. It's your decision. We just gave you all of what they call hikmah, all the wisdom to the solution, to the problem. To the problem, gave you all of the hikmah to the problem for you to come up with a solution. And I never really understood it until I saw it. Never really understood it until I saw it. And the first time I saw it, his brother, they was making a determination of this brother wanted to go in what they call in Jumat. He wanted to go out and propagate, but he wanted to go to Brazil. They was doing a Jumat to Brazil. And it's like 9 brothers, and they sitting around, and they giving a ruling on this. And all these brothers are talking. And then they get to Imam Abdul Malik. And Abdul Malik asked 3 questions. He said, has the brother ever been out in Jumat for 40 days before? I'm like, no. Is the brother married? No. And then he stopped. He didn't even get to the 3rd question. He said, because he had said he had 3 questions. He stopped right there. And he said, according to the ruling in the Fuqaha and the criteria of going out in Jumu'ah for 40 days. One, you have to have been out for 40 days before, and you cannot go to any Latin countries if you're not married. Conversation was over. Decision was made because he gave all this other stuff that them brothers said, very knowledgeable brothers, but they never went to the basics of what is the criteria. So I was like, wow, that was a situation. I saw it again when a brother wanted to divorce his wife. And he said all the reasons. He went around, got to this brother, and he said, how much sadaqah do you do, brother? Which is charity. And he said, do you understand what sadaqah is? He's like, yeah, the giving of this. He said, nah. Sadaqah is salam alaikum. Sadaqah is me setting your meal out. Sadaqah is me doing this. He say, you are upset about something because you don't appreciate the sadaqah that's being done for you.
Service.
The service. And it just would blow my mind when I would look and say, man, these things you take counsel on. Take counsel, and we kind of do it as normal human being, like me and you situation. You gave me counsel on the situation, and I spoke to some other people, and what you poured into me versus, man, this is really not worth it. It wasn't just it's not worth it. It's a higher step than it's not worth it. You giving more, putting more meat on the bone than just a blanket, man, that's not worth it. But these are the points of why it's not worth it. Now, it's your decision. Right. It's your decision, but these are the valid points that you cannot deny. Now, if you're going past this, you're choosing to not use your intelligence now. And that's a different level of counseling and consideration for somebody. And you do that with people who have your best interest at hand. Like, man, bro, if I didn't have, I'm telling you I understand, but this is what's best in this situation. That's different. And if men do that with each other, we make less missteps and mistakes when you take real counsel. Because when I come, I'm literally pouring my cup out. I ain't nothing in my cup, man. Man? Tell me, because I'm at a loss on this one, and that's being humble. That's having humility with pride. You know, I'm a proud person, proud of myself, but I can humble myself to the information. I can humble myself to what's best. I can humble myself past what my ego may be saying. And that's what they call jihad al-nafs. The greatest jihad is jihad of desire. Man, what are you feeding by doing this? Your ego? And sometimes your friends can make you seem, what my boy say, with your want to go to jail ass. That's the thing. I had a friend from DC. I was mad about something. This may be about 20 years ago. I was mad about something. And for a woman to say this to me, she said, damn, you mad for free? And I said, what? Yeah, you mad for free. And I thought about that. I was like, damn. And just watch how this makes sense. As a boxer, you a fighter, I'm a fighter. That's being mad for money. That's getting yourself mad for money. Because you going to be mad when you go in there that you finna whoop somebody for money. You finna do that for free? What's the cash out on that? I was like, damn. You ain't never lying. So when I talk to kids at these schools, I be like, so let me get this straight. You in this alternative school because you was fighting? Wow. Crazy to me. Mad for free? These people get paid millions of dollars, thousands of dollars to do that for money. And here you are in alternative school, mad for free. And some of these little boys get it. They like, because what did you get out of that besides being in this alternative school?
Yeah, it got to be broken down because, growing up, I used to hear people say all the time, you can be anything you want to be in the world. You can be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you can be a scientist, but, you got to go to school, make good grades, listen to your parents. But they didn't break it down like they didn't say, hey, well, what if your parents are crackheads? You know what I'm saying? You don't really want to listen to your parents because your parents ain't making the best decisions if they're crackheads. They don't break down that you should not steal out the store if you want to be the president of the United States. You shouldn't be stealing and robbing folks. You really got to break stuff all the way down to the last compound for people to really understand, because nobody ever told me you can't be beating up your classmates because these are going to be your first constituents. These are going to be the first people that vote for you. They start out voting for you when you run for things like class president or student body count or whatever that is, whatever those things are. Those people are going to be they're going to be the first people that vote for you. The people that you go to school with, the people that are in your community, those are going to be your first supporters. And so they're not going to pick somebody to lead who they're afraid who gave them a black eye. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so nobody ever told me all of those other things. They just told me, well, you just go to school, make good grades, listen to your parents,
Did you know you wanted to be in politics? Did you know that you wanted constituents? But somebody told you to treat people kind.
Right. But it's got to be broken. But I think it has to be broken down, and that's what I learned to do. Like what you did with those students at that alternative school. I did the same thing when I went to alternative schools in the past. I haven't been in a while, but I've learned to break it down because it needed to be broken down to me, and it wasn't. So I understood that because it wasn't, I got into a lot of trouble. But if it had been broken down to me, perhaps I would have saw some things differently. What are some things? Is there a thing in your past that you considered to be a failure at the time, but now you look back and you consider it a blessing?
Oh yeah, oh, man, how many things? It's been times that I didn't get something and not realizing at the time that it wasn't for me. I wanted it so bad, but it really wasn't for me. I was conforming to I was looking at somebody else's success thinking that's how you do it. But it wasn't for me. Like, say, going to a network. I used to want a Netflix special. I used to want HBO special. I used to want Showtime special. I used to want all that. And then I got a Comedy Central special. And what happened? Get the Comedy Central special, not really realizing that Comedy Central is not a comedy haven anymore. It's a comedy network. They got all type of programming going on. So I shoot the Comedy Central special, and then they air it one time because of their programming. how do I get to the next level when you only aired it one time? When HBO was airing People Special on all 8 of their networks for hours and days and weeks, it was only one isolated moment, and if you didn't catch it at 11:59 at night,
PM, yeah.
so they could, for it to be on LA time, how does that work out for me? But I'm thinking being on a network is the gold. No. So then after that, I understood a little bit that you want more exposure than one time. And you need more exposure than one time.
Well, you can get that on Netflix. Let me ask you this.
Netflix wasn't around, but then the other thing is Netflix has so many things on there. They have so much programming on there. They have a comedy section, a drama section, TV section. Now, that doesn't come with marketing besides on their network.
Just putting it up on the screen.
Yeah. So, and it's so many analytics to their situation, and then they own it.
What would it take, and I'm not saying that you're even interested, but what would it take for Netflix to do a deal with you, for you to do a deal with Netflix, where they would air your comedy special?
I would have to shoot it, and they would have to license it for a short amount of time to run it on their network.
Yeah, because you'd have to shoot it, because if they shoot it, they own it.
They own it, yeah.
But if you shoot it, you would license it to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they have other licensing deals.
They're not good.
They may not have that type of situation with comedy yet, but I'm sure they have licensing deals out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it would be like a new thing for them to do that. But sometimes I notice that networks, depending on who you are and all of that type of stuff, in their mind, yeah, we know who you are, we know you're good, we know you got it, but we don't want to give it to you. We don't want to give you that type of deal.
They don't want to give it to me, which I don't particularly need it. Get that slot to somebody else. I'm cool. And that's how I feel, because
but if
I'm gonna be a rival to them with the production of what I'm going to do with my friends, because it's a whole group of individuals that Netflix will never look at. That's excellent for whatever reason. So I can be that safe haven for them to come to, and then they can own a special in 2 to 3 years.
And here's the thing too, like there was a time when you could watch Comedy Central and it was really, really good comedy if you was on there. Mm-hmm. And, you had a special on Comedy Central. It was really good. And then, like you say, they became everything to all men. Mm-hmm. And, it just got really, really bad. And I see the same thing happening with Netflix. There are a lot of comedy specials on Netflix that are straight trash, and I love comedy. So I will give anybody a chance. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter if I've never seen you before. I will stop and I'm like listening because I want it to be funny, because I like funny. Mm-hmm. But a lot of that stuff is trash. And I will go as far as saying most of it. Most of the comedy specials on Netflix are trash. And that's coming from a guy who loves comedy and who wants the comedy to be funny. And not just most of it, but even most of the known, established, veteran comedians' Netflix specials are trash. Mm-hmm. They're just not good. They've been better stand-up, doing live stand-up. They're better. But it's something about being filmed and having your special being filmed, you would think that, man, I'm finally here. You know, I got it, and the world is watching. I'm finna bring everything I got, and you'd be like, wah wah wah.
The difference is with the guys who I'm gonna produce, I care about comedy. I care about the aesthetics. I care about how it looks. I care about how it sounds. I care about the material. I care about the message. And it would be a lot of steps back for me to be on somebody's network that's has a lot of trash on it. And I'd rather stay in my lane than walk amongst the trash. I'm cool. Because it wouldn't serve me well to be on a roster. Man, Kobe was not going to the Knicks. He was not. You know, he wasn't going to Philadelphia. He was going to the Lakers because they were building something. And so when you see the vision of what you're building, it's not. I don't want to be next to on because they put you up and you next to this one person here, one person. I don't want to be in the middle of these two people who I'm like, I don't.
The thing about that, though, Ali, is that you would stand out so much. Like I'm saying that you would stand out because there's nothing like you at all, nothing remotely like you on that network. And I'm just saying, if they were to give you the deal you wanted, if they were to give you that licensing deal, I think like as a fan of yours, I want the world to know.
They licensing deal is not enough money for what I know that I can make on my own because I remind a guy told me this. He helped with the same passion. Hey man, I need the world to know you made on Netflix. You know. I said YouTube is global.
True story.
He was like, didn't think about that. I said, yeah. I said, man,
Yeah.
I have a lot of fans that can access it and they can share it and they can do all these things through YouTube. And
it's more interactive.
it's more interactive. It's
Yeah.
right. It's
And
right,
it's right there
there
in your face. You can see what people think about about you with the likes. You can see you see the comments is engaging. You people going back and forth. Yeah, it is a much more interactive experience. So you're right, and actually, you know, I'm one of the people that should know better since I do pretty well on YouTube myself. You know,
If you was on,
yeah.
if this show was on Netflix, you think it would do what it does now? You think people would,
I wouldn't give up YouTube for Netflix. I would not give up YouTube. I would probably do it in addition, but I would not give it up.
Yeah, because one thing is this. If I don't even know what the topic is or who you have on, I see a clip. You have when you clip it down, it's a lot of commercials about you talk to Neil Long? Did you talk to Neil Long?
No.
It was a clip that I thought it was Neil Long on the thing. That's what I was gonna ask you. Did you talk to Neil? But it's some other lady that looks like Neil Long that you had the clip with. And I said, I'm gonna go when I get a second, I'm finna go watch this. Cause I thought it was Neil Long.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still gonna go watch because I wanna know who this lady is that look like Neil Long. You know what I'm saying? When I saw you talk to who did you have an interview with outside of Marcus, I can see your clips and say and pin it. Oh, I'm finna go see what Willie talking about with this person. I wouldn't do that on Netflix. I wouldn't see a commercial. I wouldn't see a clip. No clip would come to my phone from Netflix.
Will a clip come to my phone about this film you getting ready to do?
Yeah, sure will.
And when should we expect that film? And what's the name of it? Can you say the name?
No name yet.
No name. Okay.
Yeah, but it's speaking of that, the writer. When I said I wanted to do this movie, my manager got in touch with these people that write these type of movies. We got on a conference call, had a very great call. We went back and forth. They do this particular genre movie, and I'm like, cool. So they teamed me up with some writers and say, hey man, we pushing the needle forward with this. It's very exciting. It's like going back to a point that you was making about advice. So I wrote a book called Applied Advice. And that's a big thing with me. If you give me some advice, Willie, I'm probably going to apply the information. Because I can't stand for somebody for me to take my time to give some advice and then you do the opposite. And then because you didn't apply the advice that I gave you. Because I gave you my expert opinion. I didn't give you just a random, I gave you my expert opinion. And that expert opinion is based upon everybody who I've talked to about this prior to you asking me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like when you talking to me, you talking to 5 or 6 brains that's way smarter than me. And I'm giving you the knowledge from them. I may be the one saying it, but then you getting Dick Gregory, you getting D.L. Hughley, you getting Earthquake, you getting my partner Papa Doc, you know what I'm saying? You getting Joe. You getting a lot of other brains that's in my head that I'm giving you, and then you go do something else and then call me back and ask me why it's not working. Because you didn't take none of the advice.
You didn't apply it.
And you didn't apply it. It's like, so it's the 13 people who gave, like people, how did you get here? It's in the book.
That's dope. That's dope.
13 people that I listened to and I applied everything that they said. Over DL, the most important, it's 2 people that's the most important people in that book. B.R. Burns told me straight out of his mouth, he said, hey, if you stay in line, you get your opportunity.
Huh.
But if you get out of line, you will never get your opportunity because you got out of line.
Mm.
Billy D. Washington, comic from Houston.
Yeah, I know Billy D. Shouts out.
Man, it sent chills down my back just to even think about how invaluable this was. It was. It's nothing that's more valuable than what he said to me. He said, Ali, I don't say this to a lot of people. I ain't said this to nobody. So I ain't never seen nobody who could do it. When you're not on stage being funny, be interesting.
Mm.
And I sat and I thought about it, and I was like, this is comedy gold. This is golden. When you're not being funny, be interesting. Wow. I wouldn't have thought of it. I couldn't have paid for it. And when I started applying that method, combined with being honest, combined with not getting out of line, Dick Gregory would combine with tempering my attitude, combined with my mom, combined with my dad telling me, hey, the energy that you put in for somebody else, put that energy in for yourself. You ain't got to ever work for nobody. I was like, Billy, man, I can't even thank you enough for that medicine that you gave me. That was a prescription written just for me. And I thank him all the time for what I call him. Just say, man, thank you, bro. Man, nah, bro, man, you apply, man. I was the Billy, man, but you didn't have to say it to me. You didn't have to give me nothing. You could have hoarded that and kept that to yourself. But man, that was a big deal to me. It was such a big deal because nobody owes you nothing in this game. And for somebody to give you, it's like, man, he gave me comedy life with that. He did, and I'm forever indebted to that. Cause man, when you're not being funny, be interesting, invaluable.
Well, you're invaluable to us, Ali Siddiq, man, and I appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Oh man, thank you.
It's been real. You know, we can keep going all day long, and we'll pick it up. We'll pick it up. You're one of the most interesting people that I've ever known, not just interviewed, but just known. Because, and that's why I like to sit down with you, because you ain't gonna just drop some nuggets. You're gonna drop a mountain, you know. So that's beautiful, man. And I wish you all the success, more and more and more. I know it's so much more coming because I know how hungry you are, you know. And so I know that we're gonna continue to get blessed with more and more and more of your talent. What do you have going on right now that you want people to jump on?
Just get ready for my two sons and Rugged, cause you got to jump on them now, cause I just filmed 3 specials in Detroit, so last weekend. So I'm finna drop 3 more specials, biting off more than you can chew. My father and the dog. So that's big, and make sure y'all keep checking out Marcus' special, man. And bro, you know, I'm always humble, and I always contain myself when I'm around you. But I remember being a young boy. I'm on North Side, and you rapping in the parking lot at the Rhinestone Wrangler, and I was like, that's Willie D from the Ghetto Boys. And not knowing that I would ever meet you or ever be in your presence, but it's just like being around Dick Gregory. To me, you still Willie D. It's not just no, oh, he's just somebody I know now, man. This is Willie D. Do you understand? Like, and my jam was because you think of the shit out of me with bald head hoes. Like,
you know, that's why I first performed that song, Rhinestone Wrangler. Yeah. And when I did it in a rap battle, battle country. Well, not the battle part, but the what would they call that? The qualification part of it,
yeah.
Where you say a regular rap, and then if you can get past that, then you go to the battle rap part. Well, the regular rap I did, bald head hoes, and they loved it so much I had to do an encore from that moment on. Every single week of the rap battle, they would make me do an encore of that song. It was just that popular, and the women wanted to hear it more than the dudes wanted to hear it, which was crazy to me. But everything worked out.
I wasn't even supposed to be in the rounds. I was a young boy, and because I was in the streets, they would let me in. And man,
I know you had to be, man, because I got like 7 yeyears on you, bro. So, so yeah, shit. I was only 20, like so, 13 years old,
man.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, but thank you, man. Thanks for coming on to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Ali Siddiq.